What's up, guys? We are talking football, and we're gonna go over a little uh, draft position mid-season rankings for the Giants and the Eagles. I am a Giants fan, and Braeden is an Eagles fan, so we have very contrasting opinions on a lot of things. But this is one thing that we can just agree on. So right now, the New York Giants are sitting last in the NFC East, while the Philadelphia Eagles are first in the NFC East. The Giants are
3-4-1. Very important record. 3-4-1. Very important record.
at 3-4-1, which is, I mean, astounding, really. NFC East. This NFC East division may end up being the worst division, like single year division of all time. I think there's a chance because I think Eagles are probably going to win the division with a record of like 6 wins. Um, but if the season ended today, 8-game season, honestly, could happen. COVID's been crazy this year. The Giants will be picking at the number 2 spot, and the Eagles will be picking at the number 19 spot. So we're going to start off with what we believe our teams are going to do. And Braeden, you can start off at 19.
All right. So for the Eagles, clearly the linebacker position is very, very valuable for us. You can clearly see each week it seems like we get destroyed by tight ends. Tyler Higbee had 3 touchdowns against us versus when we went against the Rams, and we lost that game by 18 points, 37-19. Uh, Logan Thomas is built like a tight end. I don't think he's listed as a tight end, but he also played
Oh,
really well against us week 1.
when he was on Washington,
He's li
I think he's listed as a tight end. I think you might be around there. I think he is a tight end.
uh, I don't know.
Atlanta.
Anyway, still, nonetheless, he also basically destroyed us. Other weeks, I think our linebackers have improved,
I
but
will say, you
they're
also gave up
nothing special.
You also gave up like 150 yards and a touchdown to George Kittle. Just,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Even though we won that game, though.
I mean,
Uh,
you know what? Yeah, we got Giants got blown out by the Niners. I don't even know. That was the one game this year that I really did not watch. But sorry, continue.
um, So clearly, linebacker is probably the worst position for us. Almost everyone would agree with that. I think that for a first round pick, I think Micah Parsons is not even possible for us, which is unfortunate. But if we maybe trade up to a spot top 5, maybe there's a chance of getting him. But I would not count on that. I think at number 19, we have to take the second or third best linebacker in the draft if the second best falls to us, which according to PFF, they think Micah Parsons is first, obviously, and second, they say Nick Bolton from Missouri, which I was going to say Dylan Moses is probably the second best, but if they think Nick Bolton is better and his combine shows it, the rest of his season shows it, whoever picks linebacker ahead of us, if they're not taking Micah Parsons because he's already gone, if they take one, we have to take the other one. And hopefully they show that they can be good for us next year. As for second round pick, which is a toss up because we took Jalen Hurts this year in the 2020 draft. I honestly think we have to take another. It's either wide receiver or linebacker again. If if linebackers are that big of a problem, might as well add more to our depth and get better at the linebacker position. If not, we take a decent wide receiver prospect from this year and build wide receiver depth, I guess. Because corners are developing, but looking good nonetheless. Safeties also developing, but maybe we could use a really good safety for next year if we trade up or get lucky and trade back down because our linebackers are not there. That like the linebackers we don't want. Maybe pick up a high grade safety, but I think the main focus is linebackers, and after that it goes wide receiver and then safety.
Okay, so first round, do you think that Nick Bolton? Do you think I think Nick Bolton might be a reach in the first round. If he is a reach, do you think that the Eagles have any chance of trading back? If Micah Parsons and Dylan Moses are not available at number 19, would you trade back and then take Nick Bolton with whatever pick you end up with?
So PFF has him at the second best linebacker over Dylan
Okay.
Moses. So PFF ranks him high. I think that's why I said earlier if his combine shows he's good
Hmm.
and if no one else really has that much need for a linebacker, like obviously quarterbacks are a very big need in this upcoming draft. Many people, the top four quarterbacks, obviously Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Kyle Trask, I think, is also coming in with those guys too. So
Hmm.
if all the heavy positions get taken out, like quarterback, a bunch of wide receivers could also go in the first round. I
Yeah.
think that he could fall to us more easily, and maybe we could trade back, get another second round pick, and then build up more stock, obviously, and maybe get another solid linebacker or safety, I guess, if it's possible.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Rodney McLeod has been playing well though. I didn't realize he was kind of flying under the
Yeah,
radar.
yeah, yeah.
Been playing
Mhm.
well. So
He's turning
I
into our Malcolm Jenkins, I think.
yeah.
He's turning into the leader of the defense, which
I mean
is
that
very
it's
useful.
something you need. It's something you need. A leader as much as a playmaker. So I agree. By the way, wide receiver and linebacker. If you can get either or both of them in the first two rounds, that would be huge for you guys. You guys obviously have a lot of injury concerns every single year. Just absolutely devastated.
Of
But
course, it's O-line this year, but
no, yeah,
our O-line's really good, so I wouldn't really try and count on drafting O-linemen because we do have more depth at tackle, like a lot too.
yeah,
We have Driscoll and we had Dillard last year, but of course they're also both hurt, so it's not like we can do anything about it. Their
yeah,
O-line is
yeah,
decent though, nonetheless. Decent
yeah.
for
Decent.
at least not as bad as the Bengals. Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow. I mean, this is why. This is okay. Now moving on to the Giants. This is why. Few people are actually not a few. I'm sorry. A lot of people are saying ship out Daniel Jones. And I will say a few things tonight, but my main point on Daniel Jones is I have no idea where I stand with him. In the beginning of the year, I think it was prominent that Jason Garrett's offense was very bad for Daniel Jones. A lot of short throws, a lot of curls, and the picks were not totally his fault. Receivers would see the route, they know we're not going to go over top. It's a curl, jump the route, it's a pick. That's probably happened a few times, maybe 4 or 5 times. And if they aren't picked, it's broken up. It's not a catch. Jason Garrett was not putting Daniel Jones in a position to succeed. And I think he's changed. I think that Garrett's offense in the last game against the Bucks, against a really good defense, a strong front seven with probably the best linebacking core, at least coverage linebacking core in the league. I think Garrett showed up. I think Jones missed some big throws. Jones had one where he threw to the inside and Slayton went to the outside. He had an overthrow in the end zone, and then obviously he had an interception on a play where Darius Slayton had 10 to 15 yards of separation, just absolutely burned. I think it was Jamal Dean. But I'm not sure. I think Daniel Jones can make big plays, but I think he has some trouble with turnovers. So we will see where that happens. And at pick number 2, I think the rest of the season is going to be a huge factor on whether or not we draft a quarterback. I think there's not one chance that we go number 1 overall because the Jets are just not good enough. I think they will
The
not win a
Jets.
game. I think they won't win a game. I think they will go 0-16 and they will draft Trevor Lawrence first overall. That being said, if Jones continues to underperform, if he's missing throws, and if it is obviously and clearly his fault, I think we go for Justin Fields. But realistically, we take Penei Sewell. Uh, he is an amazing tackle prospect, and unlike last year where there were a few to choose from, he is the clear first choice at his position. He is a physical specimen. He has played amazingly for Miami, correct? And
No, Oregon,
I
Oregon.
just
Sorry.
Oregon. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking of the edge for round two, but he's played amazingly at Oregon. And I think we keep boosting the O line and give Jones another year. Or we choose another quarterback and see, was Jones actually the problem? For the second round pick, I am thinking we are pick 34. I'm thinking we go for the edge. I think Carlos Basham Carlos Basham Jr. Or Quincy Roche might be available. In what I'm looking at here, Quincy Roche is going a little bit higher at number 26. Patrick Jones out of Pitt goes 29, and Carlos Basham falls to us. I think we pick edge no matter what. I think there are enough decent prospects that need a little bit of work, a little bit of refining, some raw guys that could really show up for us in upcoming years, and just any edge player that's on the board at number 34. So, next, I'm going to say we should go to what we would do. What do we really, I guess for us, what we really want is probably what our teams will go for. Last year, the Giants had the chance to pick Isaiah Simmons, and they went for an offensive tackle. I was not too unhappy, but I will say I wanted the defensive impact player. But I think what we will do is probably what our teams will end up doing anyway. Do you agree? Like, do you think? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Unless we pull another Jalen Hurts.
yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Dave Gettleman's gonna get fired, but I don't think he's gonna make a pick as bad as that. Okay, so our final mini segment for this is trades. What trade would you go for in first or second round? And would you trade up? Would you fall back? You can go first.
So if we try and get rid of some cap on our team, I think it's valuable to trade up and maybe get Parsons, maybe get Jamar Chase if we're really if we got rid of some wide receivers that we probably could have used but weren't living up to their standards. I don't think we go for Jamar Chase, even though he's the best wide receiver draft prospect that in this year. So I think the only trade up scenario is to get Micah Parsons, or we trade up like 5 spots maybe if by chance that 2 linebackers have already gone and if a third is at potential of going. Like if Nick Bolton was supposedly the next best after someone took Moses and Parsons, I think that's the only other trade up scenario. If a team needed linebacker, we trade up 5 spots or 10 spots maybe if Moses went that high, which I really don't think he will, but if that's just potential. And if I think only Parsons goes and there's still Moses on the board at our spot, we take Moses. If Moses is already gone, we trade back and maybe get Nick Bolton if no one else in front of us needs linebacker or behind us in like the next 5 spots. Maybe trade back 6 spots, get another second round pick or something. Those are the only real trade scenarios I'd say. Maybe we could not waste draft capital and trade some players away, and that's the only other scenario I'd probably say.
Would you consider trading up for a guy like Jalen Waddle or Rashad Bateman that could end up going in that like 10 to 15 range?
Jeez.
Or
I
are
mean,
you only going to trade up for the possibility of Parsons?
they look like good wide receivers. I will say that every wide receiver prospect in this class of wide receivers, I think they look better than last year's. If I'm going to be completely honest, the way that the wide receivers are turning out for this year, I really think they're turning out good. Ruggs is doing good. Judy's doing really good. Rager's coming back from injury, and he looked good on Sunday night. T. Higgins is making an impact.
Yeah. CD's looking amazing too.
And Brandon Ayuk is doing really well because the 49ers don't have anybody but Kittle. And now that Kittle's hurt, I think Brandon Ayuk is their only playmaker on offense, really. I mean, 49ers is just banged up in general, but I think the Brandon Ayuk pick really paid off. And then Justin Jefferson, obviously, also paid off for Minnesota. But I think if they go to the right places in this next draft, these wide receivers, I think they make a great impact like last year. That's why I say they might be better.
Yeah.
Like Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, they all look really good. Rondell Moore is underrated. Rashad Bateman is also underrated. They could make an impact as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's okay. I think potential trades. So I'm thinking. I was just going through this. You know what? If Jones is bad, we'll take Justin Fields. That's it. Um, that's fine. If Jones isn't bad, and for some reason we are overvaluing Penei Sewell, then I think we trade back with the Patriots. Right now, I'm not totally sure where the Patriots sit on this draft. The Patriots have like the 9th or 10th pick, but this may be like wildly wrong. I know
Pretty
they
sure it's a
are.
bit
I think they
lower
have 2
than that.
wins right now,
They're 2-5.
but they're not doing amazingly. They started off strong. 2-5, maybe they are. Okay. So I think we trade back with the Patriots. I think this trade includes Golden Tate, and I think we trade back for their second round pick, and we trade away Golden Tate, and we swap first rounds. Because Patriots are extremely lacking in the wide receiver department. N'Keal Harry has pounds over the offseason. People thought maybe this can improve his route running in the league. But Edelman is aging, and maybe they bring in Tate just for a year or two. I believe he has 1 or 2 years left on his contract. I'm not totally sure. But this gives them a chance to draft their quarterback of the future, to get a little bit of wide receiver help for his early years. And then also, this puts the Giants in a position to, I believe, draft a wide receiver. I think if we end up at 9 or 10 out of a trade, we draft Jamar Chase. I think he's the most polished receiver. He has every aspect. He has the hands. He has the route running. He can make the big plays. And we have Slayton. Shepard is constantly injured, and Ingram underperforms. I think the combination of Slayton and Jamar Chase could be amazing. And then at that point, we would end up with 2 second-round picks. I'm not totally sure, but second round that I would like. But then again, trading back up and securing Quincy Roche or Patrick Jones, it could be good. But I think we trade back, we find a way to lose 8 and swap first round picks and somehow get another pick out of it. And maybe we trade back up. We end with a good wide receiver out of the draft instead of having an aging wide receiver on a big contract who is underperforming. And we end up with that edge player that we sorely need. Our defense has been great this year, but our pass rush has not gotten there consistently. So that's what I think. I think the Giants have a lot of potential. We could be good in upcoming years, and this next draft is going to be extremely impactful to the future of this team.
So I just have a question for you. I have a question for you. Why would you get rid of Golden Tate but still get, or why would the Patriots only get your first round? And then you'd get their second round and their first round. Why would you give away Golden Tate? Like, why wouldn't you get one of their players or something? Or if you're going to swap like more picks or something, like if you get a third of theirs or something, could you potentially see yourself giving away Ingram instead of Golden Tate?
So, yes, it would potentially be they give us another second round or third round pick as well as their first round swap. And again, I think it all depends on the end of the season. He has made some real plays, and he's been very impactful in a bad way. But he is still a physical specimen. He's a wide receiver that's as big as a tight end. If this end of the season he balls out, then by the way, they had the chance to trade him. They've gotten calls today. Was the trade deadline, or yesterday? I'm sorry, was the trade deadline?
Yeah, yesterday.
I read that Judge got calls and he doesn't. Yeah, yesterday. He doesn't want to ship anyone out. And Ingram is one of those young guys that still has a lot of room to improve. So I think the only possible people that we would trade away would be Tate, and then maybe our offensive guard Kevin Zeitler, because he well. But I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally sure. This is obviously kind of unrealistic. Trades like these don't usually happen in the NFL because the NFL is boring. But I mean, we just do this to entertain you. Anything else? Okay, well, that is it. Thank you all for watching, and tune in next time.